Introduction. For years, people have been encouraging me to pen a self-help book, even waved a couple big checks in my face. I always passed. Not that I didn't come close a few times. I even got as far as co-authoring one, The 50th Law, with the great Robert Greene. But still, I never felt comfortable with writing my own. I just didn't like the idea of presenting myself as an expert on life. That may sound strange coming from one who has never been shy at telling you how much money he has, how many records he sold, or TV shows he's produced. Yes, I've been comfortable sharing my success publicly, but privately I'm sensitive to the fact those accomplishments haven't made my life all the way right. There are many things I fucked up. Money, relationships, opportunities, friendships, you name it. I've absolutely failed as many times as I've succeeded, which ultimately is the very reason I finally decided to write a book. There aren't many people who have experienced success on the level I have. Within that elite group, even fewer had to pull themselves up from the bottom like I had to. It's a story I told many times before, but it's worth repeating here. My mother had me when she was 15. As a single mom, she was forced to turn to selling drugs to support me. For several years, she prospered on the street, but as they do with almost everyone, those streets eventually caught up with her. She was killed when I was 8 years old, and I was forced to move in with my grandparents, who were already raising 9 children of their own. By the time I was 12, I was selling drugs on the same streets that had claimed my mother. It was the kind of circumstances that knock most people down and keep them there. But I never stopped pushing. I got into hip-hop, made a little noise, and then got shot 9 times over a neighborhood beef. That would have been the end of the road for most people. But I was just getting started. I recovered, kept working on my music, and ended up releasing one of the best-selling debut albums in history. By the time I hit 30, I'd sold tens of millions of albums, produced and starred in my own biopic, and become one of the first hip-hop artists to create a mainstream brand. I figured I'd left the struggle behind me once and for all, but I was wrong. Over the next few years, my manager mentor, Chris Lighty, died under tragic circumstances. I became a target for lawsuits, and most of the money in the music industry literally streamed out the door as MP3s replaced CDs. In my unprecedented success, people couldn't get enough of me. Even when things became complicated, I grew in popularity, but for the wrong reasons. The forces that built me up were now taking pleasure in my potential destruction. It was never a true rock bottom. Very few rock bottoms aligned with Gucci wallpaper and Lamborghinis in the garage. But my life felt like it was headed in the wrong direction.